it's Gina. Welcome to the Rebookery channel. Today I'm going to show you my planner that I had up to my last planner. So this would have been like, I don't do January to January, so this would have been like June of 2015 to, I think it went to May 2016. So I take this with me when I go to craft shows because people always want to know, well, what do I do with an altered book, or what can I do with a journal? So this was a book that I found in a thrift store. It was like an old textbook or an old electronics manual. I think I paid 35 cents for it. And I bought it because I loved the size, I loved the color, and then the paper was a real cottony, thick type of paper. So once I took it home, I tore out a lot of the pages so that I could make room for adding more paper and other ephemera and stuff, and some tip-ins and some extra pages. And then with this one, I glued some of the pages together, but because the paper was so thick, I didn't have to glue a lot of the pages together. So I'll just quickly flip through it and show you what my planner looks like and how I do both planning and art journaling and scrapbooking all at the same time. So on the front cover, I just kept it pretty much what it was. I added a sticker. I did some cutouts and just added my initials, put a little bit of washi tape on the edge, and then this was my June. So I didn't gesso these pages, I just left them blank so the original text would pop through, and I added a lot of, this was before they were called tip-ins, so I call them fold-outs or flaps. So I just added a lot of flaps to this, some stickers, some scrapbooking paper, some journaling cards. And then pretty much I just plan like you normally would, like I put doctor's appointments and stuff on here, but mostly what I do is I go back and put what we did. So it's actually more of a scrapbook than a planner. I also do a lot of doodling and practicing drawing, just basically experimenting with art in this. This will be something that I sit down in front of the TV with, and some markers and some tape, and just kind of have fun, just kind of doing nothing. So this was my June. This was just a page that I had some notes on. This was a tip-in or an extra page that I put in. This was from an old handyman's guide, and this was one of the index pages, so I just secured it with washi. This is a sticky note that had some notes in it, so just general random things. I love produce stickers, so I always try to stick them in my planner or art journal, whatever I'm working on. Sometimes I'll put quotes in here. So this was a quote I put in here by Steve Jobs. I like to add photos. I love adding photos, but I will be honest, in this planner, I got very lazy in printing out my photos, so I don't have very many. But this actually was a goal page. So this was a page that I wrote all my goals that I wanted. This was when I was starting my Etsy shop. And so I put a bunch of goals on here. And then over time, I just added paper and drawing and all kinds of different tags and stuff. And so even though you can't see the goals anymore, I know that they are there. So, and that makes me feel good because I know my goals are there. I don't need to read them. I know what I still plan and still want to happen in the future. This was a page that I just used some watercolors. These weren't fancy watercolors. I think these were some that my kids had left at school. And so just watercolored on it and just do some random drawings, adding some stickers and little bits of things. This was an envelope that I stuck in. This was my July, and July this year was really busy. So again, I just marked off or gridded off my weeks, and I actually stamped my days across the top, and then I went ahead and wrote in the dates. And so this was a blank page. I let the original text stick through. And then I just started writing my journaling, my planning, and my to-do lists on here. So for this one, I actually have these little circle sticky notes, and these were kind of little flips that I had. My hair color, because I didn't want to forget what my hair color was, because it seems like I always forget which color I have. Sometimes I would accent the original illustrations that were coming through. You know, just this was interesting. This was actually a baby shower card from when I was a baby. And so my mom had given me a box of all of my old stuff. So this was a baby shower card for me, and I stuck it in there. This was just a page where I'd done some pink watercoloring and had some, found some old yearbooks, and so I stuck some of the pictures in there, just playing around with colored pencils. A little note card with some practicing of some drawing. I always like, if a phrase gets stuck in my head, like this one was "Whoa Nelly," I just always like to write it down to try to get it out of my head. One of the things I love about this planner was that I finished every one of the edges with washi tape. So when you're holding it, it kind of looks cool because I can see all the different washi tape, and it just kind of makes my edges a little stronger. This was an old grocery ad. I just glued down on the page, added some pretty textured paper. This time I was playing around with some white pen. This was a quote that I had found about, "We live on a finite planet, but we have infinite wants, and that's a problem." The environment is a thing that I really worry about. So I'm always journaling about the environment and science and the planet and all kinds of good stuff. This was an old recipe I found at a thrift store, and I just thought the paper was pretty and the lady's handwriting was really pretty. I think I actually photocopied this because it had food stains and stuff on it, and it kind of smelled. So this was actually a photocopy. And then this was just a little piece of paper that I got in some cosmetics that I bought. This was just a page about my son going back to school and soccer practice starting up, and him picking number 3 because that's my favorite number. And so when he came home to tell me he picked number 3, I like to write with, you know, some colors, like some bright colors, and then go back in and fill in the empty spaces with another bright color. I love circles. I'm not very good at drawing, but I can draw circles really well, so I always put a lot of circles in my journals. This was a little envelope that I got out of a Flow magazine, and I just sewed it on here. And then this is a card that I found from my grandparents. I think it came with my high school graduation gift. And so I found that little card one day, and I just stuck it in here because, I don't know, it was kind of neat seeing my grandparents' handwriting. This was my August, which is always a crazy month. Again, I had used the sticky notes as little flaps and fold outs. And this month, I couldn't get it all to fit on here, so I had to add a couple extra days. And so how I did that was I just added a couple extra little pieces of paper up here, and as it was, I really didn't need them anyway because it doesn't look like I did anything on those pages. And then, you know, just spent a lot of doodling. When my life gets really stressful and busy, I think I spend a lot of time drawing, and so this was just me drawing. And probably, I think at school I had found my stash of stickers from when I used to teach elementary, and I had a bunch of ladybug stickers, so I stuck those on there, some clothing tags, another flap that I may have out of this is again a card from the Flow magazine. This was an actual copy of a dress pattern, like a sewing packet, and so I had made a copy of it and pasted that in here. And then this was my attempt at trying to draw tiny houses. I was on a big tiny house kick back then. So this was my attempt at drawing tiny houses. This was a tip-in that I put in, and this came from the Flow magazine again. And these were cool because these little things would fold out. And so what I did was I backed it with different colored paper, so it kind of gave some interest and some tape. And then on here, I drew some stars and stuff, and I wrote, I was really sad that I was too tired to watch the meteor shower. So there was a really good meteor shower that August, and I had planned on going and seeing it, and then school started and I was way too tired, so I just drew the meteor shower. A lot of times when I'm sitting watching TV, I like to have my journal in front of me, and a lot of the things I watch are science shows. So if it's something that I think I'll talk about in class, for example, this one was about, I was watching, I don't know what it was, How the Universe Works or Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman, one of those shows. But anyway, they were talking about the Boomerang Nebula, and I knew that I was going to be talking about nebula with my kids, and so I started just writing things down. And it's interesting, I will take this to school to remind myself, hey guys, you know, the Boomerang Nebula, it's 1 degree Kelvin, and so this is kind of a little place where I take my little science notes. I found this transparency, actually I think this was a packing tape transfer that I had made a long time ago from an old worksheet at school, and so I put that on there because this was about space. And then I have lots of glitter paint and all kinds of really sparkly stuff on there. This is just some notes that I was taking. Like I said, I was getting ready to start my Etsy shop, and so this was just some notes that I was taking as I had I was listening to some podcasts on starting an Etsy shop. This is an envelope that I stuck in, a security envelope, and then these are just some papers that I wanted to keep track of, so I put those in there. My September was some flips and folds and all kinds of drawings and lots of food. Love food. And so here we went to cider donuts and yeah. Then we had fuzzy tacos and pasta feed, and yeah, love food. So we talk about food a lot, and I journal about food a lot. On this one, I found these little puffy stickers at the Dollar Tree, and they were weather stickers, and so I stuck those on here because I like to record the weather. And then I always like to record the moon, and so we had a blood moon that September. My son plays soccer, so a lot of soccer stuff in here. This was another page of just doodling while I was listening to a podcast. A sticker from a really good chocolate, local chocolate place in Springfield, Missouri. And my son was going to college in Springfield at the time, so we would stop in at Askinosie several times and get chocolate. Just some paper doll clothes, a business card, scrapbook paper, and some drawing. This was me sitting in the parking lot waiting for my son's soccer game to start, and I just had a couple of pens with me. And I had already probably done this wash of watercolor on here, but I just started adding, I think I had a little baggie of just scraps, and I had a glue stick and a small pair of scissors and a couple of markers and pens, and I just sat there and added these things to this page. So this was me. I was waiting for the game, waiting for the rain, waiting for Christmas break, waiting for time, waiting. And so it seems like I spend a lot of time sitting in my car waiting for things. This is some paper I got at a paper store here in Kansas City. They're actually a letterpress store, and this was some wrapping paper that I got there many years ago, and I'm done. I'm like, I don't have any more of this paper, and so this was like one of my last pieces of it, and I had to put it in here because it's just the cutest, sweetest paper. Just some more notes. I think I was getting ready to do my first craft show, and so I started writing down notes of everything that I would see on the internet that I knew I wanted to have for my craft fair. For my craft booth. This was October, and it's blue because this was when our beloved Kansas City Royals went to the World Series and won. So my spread for October was overtaken with blue. And again, this is another card I got from a big box that my mom gave me, and this was my birth. This was my little birth notice that they put. And why I stuck that in there. Actually, I did stick this one in here because October was when I was born. So that actually went in there because this is my birthday month. And then just some little flips and flaps. For this one, I love keeping track of the moon, especially in the fall. And so this was taking these little letter stickers and I just cut them out in the shape of the moon as I watched the moon the last couple of weeks of that month. So just some random paper and some paint and some pen drawing. This page I actually love. So this was a fold out that I put in, or a tip in that I put in. And I sat down one day just at the kitchen table, I think it was one Saturday morning, and I had a page from a field guide and a couple of pens and a couple of pieces of scrapbook paper, like scraps, like this big. And I just sat down with a glue stick and some scissors, and I just created this. And I would just cut little teeny tiny pieces out and stick them on here. Like I cut the little sticker of North America, and I cut little bits of text out. And then I added some produce stickers. And this actually turned out to be one of my favorite pieces of artwork that I made, because it was just, I didn't use anything fancy. It was just stuff that I had right there. Love drawing raindrops, and so this was just me drawing raindrops, and I actually took some paper and cut it out and put it on here. Again, same thing, just wrote some notes down of probably a TV show I was watching or something, and then just practicing my drawing. This was a page out of a book on how to letter, and then this was, I got this cool little record book at a thrift store, and this was the sticker that went inside, and it's to tell you that there was a record inside. And so I loved the color of that, so put that on there. And my attempt at trying to draw flowers, and it says a twisting vortex of light, so I must have been watching a science show at the time. My November is very busy because that seems to be our month of birthdays, so I had lots of little flaps and fold outs because there was lots of birthdays and Thanksgiving and my son turning 16, and we got his driver's license, and I think I wrote in here, we weren't getting along that day, and then I marked off day and I put week. It was a sad story. I was very grouchy when I took him to go get his driver's license, and so it wasn't the most happiest of times. Just practicing drawing. I love making little pie charts and then coloring them in. My drawing skills are very limited, so I have just like a set of shapes that I draw, and I just draw those over and over again. Just some collaging, a sticker from an area that I like to go to in Kansas City called West 39th Street. This was kind of blank, so I can go back and put more stuff here. I love this because this is a little golden book, which I love, but this is the Jingle Bells little golden book, and it was one of my favorites when I was a little kid, but for something about these illustrations, they are so beautiful. And so this, I just happen to have this page sitting on my desk, and so I put it in. Stickers, some bread that I had gotten, my December, so little tags, little cards. I love cuties, and so this was when cuties came back into season, and I started buying those again. All kinds of little things, little pages from books and notes about things that we had done over Christmas break. This I put some die cuts on, some thicker cardboard ones, so it kind of has some texture. This is from Flow magazine again, and these are little flaps. They fold out again. And on this one, it says, sorry, no winter for you. Winter is my favorite. Fall is my favorite, but winter is my second favorite, and it's a very close second favorite. And so we didn't have any winter last winter. It barely got cold, and I think it snowed one time, and it didn't even last. So I was really bummed out. So I said, sorry, no weather or no winter for you. Just some drawings. This is a page about my Christmas present, which was a pair of Fry boots. And if you've never had Fry boots, they're awesome. And so I love my Fry boots, and so I kept the tag, and I had these two little girls on here, and I kind of tatted them up and, you know, kind of made them, turned them into little vixens here. And then I said, well, it is her boot debut. It was kind of funny. It was something that my husband and I would say every time I'd wear my Fry boots last winter. I'd be like, oh, it's my boot debut. I get to wear them. I loved those boots. Love them, love them, love them. More watercolor with some white pen accents, drawing with pencil. My January, and this I actually did this whole page in some vintage wrapping paper. It's like some white silver wrapping paper. So I actually glued it down first and then gridded out my calendar and then put my days of the week across there. So this one was a little bit easier to read because it doesn't have the original book text coming through. But this is another birthday month for us. It's one of my son's birthdays. And then this thing, because there was something I was really hoping on that would happen to me, and then I found out in January it wasn't going to happen. And I had put all my eggs in that basket, and so I was really bummed, but I actually came away with it thinking sometimes getting denied the opportunities to fulfill your dream can actually be a good thing, and that's actually what happened. It turned out to be for the better that I didn't get what I thought I was going to get. And then my son driving in my car telling me that my speakers slap, which evidently that's a good thing. Valentine's is my absolute favorite holiday, so I have this old Valentine advertisement and it flips up, and I still haven't put anything on here, so I can always go back and add more stuff. And then this is a pocket I made. This was a picture that I got from an old yearbook. I think it was a 1956 yearbook, but I cut it out and then I added colored pencil and just some little accents and stuff, and I actually made it a flap. And then I wrote, "And in that moment she knew they'd be together forever," because I thought that was kind of a cute little sentiment, because he's picking her up for a dance. Then my February, which I love February. And again, I was watching a science show because this is about Earth 2.0. It's 1400 light years away. It's in the Kepler 452b. Yeah, I must have been watching some serious science shows back then. More dress patterns, more of me adding little interesting bits to the girls and putting a quote there. This is my favorite poem by Christina Rossetti called "Is the Moon Tired?" And so I just found a copy of it, and I have many copies of it, but I just cut it out and put it on here because I always like to see that poem several times. I always like to use them in my journals. This is March, kind of slowed down a little bit. This was spring break, had a lot of soccer going on, took a trip to Dallas. This I started and haven't finished, but this was some notes on my craft booth that I was going to be making for an upcoming craft fair. And then once I didn't need the notes anymore, I went back and put some paint on it so I can go back and add some more detail. I'm kind of interested to see how this turns out. Another page that I didn't really finish, so I can always go back and work on that. Added some watercolor over my notes because I don't need the notes anymore, but it makes a nice layer. This is kind of cool. This came from that Flow magazine, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's when you open it up, it folds out. So this was kind of cute. I stuck it in there, and then I went through and I added some of these blue dots of paint, and I'll probably go back and add some more detail to that. And then it also, I have it opening up this way, and my vacuum died, so I had to go get a new vacuum. And then this was the end paper of an old vintage book that I had, and I just thought it was very pretty, so I stuck that on there. And almost done here. This is April, so just added love rain, and so if it's not actually raining, I like to draw rain. And then I just added some watercolor, and again a flap. A to-do list, a page where I've just collaged some bits of paper. This is another page that I got out of the Flow magazine, and then I just taped it in. And this is a piece of scrapbook paper that I taped in. Another piece from that handyman book that I taped in with some paint on it. And then this is my last page. This is May. And so May is a busy month for me because it's the end of school and I'm a teacher. So this was just a whole bunch of things that were going on at school, and then some quotes and some places where my husband and I were going, because we always get summer fever when May hits and we know it's almost summer vacation. And I actually gridded all of this out, wrote the dates and the names, or dates and the days on there, and then I took that old yearbook that I had and cut out pictures and put the pictures in each of the days. I thought that was kind of cute. And so I've got a lot of room that I can actually go back and add some more doodles and drawings. So this book isn't done. I mean, yes, it's expired because this time has already passed, but there's a lot of room that I can go back and add tons of more drawings and thoughts and quotes and memories and maybe even some photos. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys try something with an altered book, something like a planner or an art journal, and let me know in the comments below how it turns out. Thanks, bye.